It was only a matter of time before the Santa Cruz Tallboy saw the lower link VPP placement like the rest of Santa Cruz bikes, and now it's here. Not only does the Tallboy get the new suspension treatment, but it gets 10mm more travel front and rear, much different geometry, and a whole new attitude. We had the chance to ride the new Tallboy for a few days ahead of the release during Crankworx Whistler, and have to say, it's quite the trail bike. Again, Santa Cruz has been moving its VPP suspension closer to the bottom bracket on the entire lineup, and for good reason. It puts more weight deeper in the center of gravity. Santa Cruz says it offers a more progressive rate with better all-around kinematics, balanced for pedaling, mid-support, and bottom-out resistance. The upper link gives more of a pedal platform and a more responsive feel. That said, the 27.5-inch 5010 and the 29er Blur are the only Santa Cruz bikes left on the lineup with the upper link VPP. For a quick lowdown on the numbers, the new Tallboy has 120mm of rear travel and a 130mm fork. The reach grew about 20mm across all sizes, which, speaking of size, the Tallboy runs in 6 sizes from extra small to extra large. The head angle has been chopped down 2.5 degrees to a 65.5 degree head angle, and the seat angle perked up to 76.4 degrees, both in the low position. There is also a flip chip for geometry adjustments, changes the angles by under a half degree, and the chainstay can also be extended by 10mm from 430 to 440mm to get that real racy stability. My first ride impressions took place on the Cut Your Bars trails in Whistler, a small network of trails that range from flowy jumps to steep and rocky slabs. By the name of the trails, it obviously gets a little tight in a few sections. With 120mm of travel, the Tallboy obviously wasn't going to be any sort of slouch. Even in open mode, the new Tallboy feels like an efficient climber. On this short network of chunky trails, I mostly left the suspension open and felt that I didn't suffer too much because of this. The top stroke suppleness of the VPP is very handy for trails like this. When you're fighting for stability and traction, anything too rigid means that you might get bucked offline. On my second day of riding the Tallboy, the pedal switch came in handy, with a short but steep fire road climb up to the microclimate trail. There isn't much noticeable bob in the suspension, but it is a little bit softer in open mode, so the medium damp position would be my choice for longer climbs like this. With a 65.5 degree head angle on the Tallboy, one might wonder about the wander. There is a little, but with the 76.4 degree seat angle, it keeps the rider's weight forward and on the bars to keep them in line. The seat angle also makes for a pretty comfy pedaling position. Really though, the Tallboy's climbing ability now just enhances the bike's versatility, and the descending is where the fun happens. On the Cut Your Bars trails, I found some steep rock rolls and a fun little flow trail called ESP. As eager as the Tallboy was to climb, now it's just as eager to go downhill and doesn't shy away from steep or technical. Over real bumpy route sections, the VPP soaked up trail chatter, and the Tallboy has a racy, stick-to-the-ground feeling, but with plenty of ramp and pop when you want to hit the jumps. Tallboy has a solid mid-stroke too, and it's easy to use trail compressions to pump and roll, and it feels very plush on drops and hard landings. Although I was a bit worried about riding the Tallboy around Whistler single track, the head angle and the suspension were like mechanical Xanax. P.S. The RockShox Pike Select Plus feels great. The trails around Whistler were quite steep, so having a bike with a sub 66 degree head angle was a blessing. On the microclimate trail, which drops over 1,000 feet of vert in just over a mile and averages a 19% grade, the Tallboy performed admirably, especially considering that it's a 120mm travel trail bike. It was only on the steep, fast, and sustained hits that I started to remember that I was on a short travel trail bike. Our overall impression on the new Tallboy is pretty positive. Enduro geometry has made its way all the way down to short travel XC bikes, and at least with the Tallboy, it seems like a good thing. Santa Cruz's release video shows Lucas Shaw ripping the Tallboy and dubs it the Downhillers XC bike, and that feels spot on. I could see the Tallboy in the hands of riders who want a bike for most of their rides and the occasional XC race, or for someone who enjoys stage racing. With an efficient 120mm of travel and a slack, aggressive geometry, the Tallboy would excel in races like the BC Bike Race or the Pisgah Stage Race. Pricing starts at $2,000 for an aluminum frame, $3,100 for a carbon frame, and there are 9 different builds total, ranging from a $2,700 aluminum build to a $10,400 premium carbon build. Thanks for watching the review. Check out singletracks.com for daily mountain bike news, trail information, product reviews, and much more. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, subscribe for more bike review videos, and we will see you on the trails.
Woo!